What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of my NHL 23 Saskatoon Caribou expansion mode series. I asked you guys on both Twitter and YouTube which team I should be next. Now on Twitter, Vancouver just barely edged out the win there, but there was only 1,000 votes on Twitter. On YouTube, over 6,000, and the expansion team clearly won it. So you combine the two polls, and expansion team is your winner. Before I forget, if you wouldn't mind leaving a thumbs up on this video, it really helps me out. First things first, guys, I love the Iowa Heartlanders logo, so I was really hoping to use that for this team. You can see there I went with the green, black, and white colors. This, of course, is based off the Saskatchewan Rough Rider colors. I really wanted to use those colors for Saskatchewan's first ever NHL team. I can see the secondary marks there is like a white caribou, which I think I do use on the alternate jersey. Speaking of which, I'll show you guys the jerseys next. So I think they're pretty sharp. The home jersey there, you can see all black with the green details, the double stripes. You guys can see the numbers there again. Pretty happy with how these turned out, both the logo and the jersey. The away there is basically the same thing, but white instead of black. And then finally here, the alternate jersey. It went a little bit crazier here. The number on the front there, the triple white stripe. Again, that's supposed to be like the Saskatchewan Rough Riders logo there with the 3 white stripes. That's kind of the inspiration for this one. So I think that there's pretty cool. Also, it's hard to tell, but I actually did use metal, both helmet and gloves. But again, when they're black, you can't really tell, but I figured, I'd throw those on. At least the alternate there. Signature effects, I think this is sweet. Like the green smoke coming out there on a goal, like that'll be so awesome to see. Hopefully, like in a Stanley Cup final. All these projections, obviously, we're gonna use. Unfortunately, none of them really matched our team well. I mentioned before, I love the tidal wave one, but again, did not fit the theme. So I went with NHL 94 here. I mean, obviously, we're playing hockey. It was basically between that and Frost, and I thought like Frost was a little bit too boring. So NHL 94. I mean, it's hockey. It's played before the game. I think that's okay. National anthem, obviously, is Canada. If you guys don't know, Saskatoon is a city in Canada. And next year, guys, I'll show you what our mascot is looking like. So I decided to go with like a bandit here. Kind of like the thing that fit the best, honestly. His name's Clint there, basically for Clint Eastwood. Mascot number 0, because it's a number no player will have. And now for this series, guys, I'll be using Vasi roster update 2, as I still haven't finished my custom roster. And honestly, he's like so much further ahead than me, and there's no way I catch up. He's got over 300 created players, like absolutely insane. So I cannot wait to kind of get in and play this franchise with all these added prospects. He's also got, I think, a bit more realistic ratings than the ones EA gave us, so should be a ton of fun. So obviously, guys, for this franchise mode, we're using the 33 team expansion draft. Now this was actually added in NHL 22, and I never did a series with it, just for whatever reason, I guess. So I'm super excited to see, if we can make our mark here on the NHL. Also, guys, some Easter eggs for you in this rush. You can see made Atlanta Thrashers, Chicago Blackhawks there with an alternate logo, Hartford, Quebec, X-Tech, Seattle Storm Bears. You've also got the Utah Grizzlies there. I'm not sure what the Toronto and Trinidad and Tobago ones are, but still very, very cool. And now for this, guys, we also have to make an AHL team. For whatever reason, it doesn't let you like sub in an AHL team, so I've actually got to customize one right now. It's definitely not going to be as good because I don't want to, take too long here. I want to get into the expansion draft, but I'll make something sick.
1 hour later.
Alright, guys, so I just finished making the AHL team. As you can see, they're called the Regina Grey Wolves. I felt like this was pretty fitting, using the second biggest city in Saskatchewan, which is also the capital, in Regina. I'm going to have us playing in the Regina Pats Arena there, the Brandt Center, although, as you guys might have seen, it's completely redone now with the new ceiling. So Wolves is actually a play-by-play team name. If you guys watched my video, we went over all the new custom logos in-game. This one was my favorite by far. I feel like the gray and light blue colors actually really fit the logo. Honestly, I'm starting to think maybe I should have made this the NHL team. You guys can let me know in the comments which of these 2 created teams you like better. The name, the logo, as well as the jerseys, which I still gotta show you guys here. Now in the AHL, I guess, the white jersey's home for half the game, so in-game, they show it being white there. Again, it's a pretty simple jersey there with the gray and light blue stripes. I really like the light blue equipment, though. I think it kind of pops. The away jersey here is honestly my favorite. Like the light gray there is the base color, I think sick. You guys can see the back on that one as well as the home there. And then for the alternate, decided to go for like a whiteout jersey. Also 2 alternate logo there, just the W. I thought that was, kind of cool. Although, like I said, definitely like this away one the best. Really happy, honestly, with how this turned out. I think we got like a pretty unique NHL and AHL team there. I'm also liking the fact that they are linked, being Saskatchewan's 2 biggest cities. I'm hoping we can bring a Stanley Cup to that province. So, like I was saying, guys, next year, finally, getting started with the draft. Like, look how sick that is. Saskatoon Caribou, Regina Grey Wolves. I love it. And now in terms of our division, guys, I'm thinking Central makes the most sense. I feel like Winnipeg's a little bit lonely there as the only Canadian team. And if you draw a line straight down, Saskatoon's pretty close to Colorado, so definitely think we'll be in the Central there, which obviously is going to make the Western Conference tougher. Like, we now have 17 teams here, 9 in our division. But, I mean, once we're good, hopefully it does not matter. So for this, guys, like I mentioned, order mode's turned off. Now, you have to have add contract here. Otherwise, it just screws everything up. Salary cap, of course, is on. Fog of War, not a huge fan of. Same with player morale. Computer trades are on. Expansion draft exemption, so I'm not going to have Seattle losing a player, 1 year after doing their draft. And in regards to the actual settings here, guys, as always, game style is full sim, which is the most realistic. Injuries turned off just because they are a pain. Period length 20 minutes. Franchise mode, we're going to do a 10-year franchise mode again. Difficulty superstar. Trade difficulty there we'll have set to hard just to make it more difficult on us. And I am going to try something new here, guys. A lot of people were saying for most realistic goalie stats, as I mentioned how none of the goalies had good numbers, I need to leave the sim engine scoring set to medium, but turn up the shot frequency to high. So I'm going to give that a try. Prospect quality and draft class quality, I like both those being low. Again, makes it more difficult. I feel it also makes it a bit more realistic. You still get, late round steals, but it's a lot tougher to do. Also, too, you're not guaranteed a good player end of the first round, early second anymore. Those are kind of my preferred settings. So let's see, guys, how good this expansion team is going to be after the draft. Like I said, really excited. And now look at this, guys. The one issue with expansion mode is that you have to redo the 2022 draft. So basically, there's going to be a bunch of random players there, along with 5 medium elites at the top of it. And Arizona gets an extra one because they get Montreal's pick still, even though that was an issue all last year. I've mentioned it to EA multiple times. It has not been fixed. Chicago jumps from 8 to 1. So Arizona picks 2 and 3. They get 2 random medium elites. We also get a random medium elite, though, at 4. Seattle gets 1 there at 5. So the 2 most recent expansion teams, Arizona and Chicago, who I think most people thought would be the 2 worst teams in the NHL this year. So I guess that's not all bad. But I think I'll probably save the entry draft for the start of next episode, guys. This one I want to focus on the team creation as well as the expansion draft itself. So let's get into it here. I'm really curious to see what kind of team we can build. Obviously, the computer GMs aren't always the smartest with who they leave available. So on the Ducks here, you got Kevin Shattenkirk. Tiers left 3.9 million. That's really not that bad. Stollers, I feel like we don't need him. Shattenkirk's going to have the most value. So if I'm just trying to, build this team for the future, I don't see us being good enough to compete right away. He makes the most sense. Connor Timmins, 23.79. Can often be a good defenseman, so I'll actually take him and the Coyotes there. I know there is position restrictions and stuff, but right now just focus on best player available. Brandon Carlo, 25.84. Could be a great defenseman for us, honestly, even in the future. Jake DeBrusk there. I think Brandon Carlo, wow. So we are taking a lot of defensemen. Actually, let me check Boston. There's no way that they protected Allmark over Swayman, is there? I don't see either. They must have gone the 2 goalie route. And that's why they have so many players available here, Krejci, etc. So very interesting from them. Buffalo Sabres up next. Not really giving us a lot. You got Cale Clegg there. Like I said, not a whole lot from Buffalo. Honestly, just because I have taken so many defensemen already, I'll probably take Anders Bjork. Hopefully he can turn into an 80. Calgary Flames up next. Noah Hannafin. That's a big get. I don't see a way we don't take Hannafin here. I guess we could take Vlader. 24.81. I don't know. It's not quite good enough. So yeah, Noah Hannafin there. So far, defense can be stacked. I mean, that's just the way the draft kind of works. Brent Burns on Carolina. I think he's a guy we take and then immediately, trade at the deadline. So let's do that. Chicago Blackhawks up next. Tyler Johnson. Caleb Jones isn't too bad, especially at that price. Let's look at potential here. Kachuk, 24.77, high top 9. I feel like he could end up being a decent 3rd or 4th liner for us. And like I said, I think we already have too many defensemen, so do have to take the lesser forward at some point. Wow, Samuel Girard's available with the Colorado Avalanche. That's insane. I'm wondering, did they protect Francouz? Did they protect... Wow, they did. We could take Georgiev. Thing is, 83 overall for 3.4, honestly, in this game, that's not the greatest contract. Real life, it's not terrible. But Samuel Girard there, I think, is a must-take. So, like I was saying, this defense is going to be kind of stacked. Jake Bean makes the most sense in the Columbus Blue Jackets. Also could take Peak here. Same rating, but much cheaper contract. Jake Bean is under contract for 1 extra year. I feel like we have to go with one of the defensemen. There's no way. Yeah, I was going to say, if Merz Lincoln was available, maybe go with him. I love Nyquist, former Red Wing there, but that's salary of the age. I think, honestly... Oh, Andrew Peak is extended, though, 3 years after that. 2.75. I think then we'll take Jake Bean, just so, less term if we do want to get rid of him. Up next here, Dallas Stars, Gurianov, 25 years old, 82 overall. One of the better forwards we've actually seen yet, so I'll take Gurianov there. Looking at the Red Wings now, Jacob Veranda not... Are you kidding me? How do you not protect Jacob Veranda? I mean, that's super easy. Even if Husso's available, which he is, 27.84, Veranda, I think, has the potential, if he's in the top 6, to just grow a lot more. have more value. Edmonton here, we could take Tyson Barrie. A really good offensive defenseman. Look at that passing there, 95. Awesome shot. I can see how he's made it too, like realistic 95 offense awareness, but then only 81 D awareness. So an all-offense defenseman, he honestly might tear it up. Now they might have Stuart Skinner, they do, available. 23.79 high starter. I kind of want both of these guys, but I think Skinner will have less value as a goalie. So honestly, take Barrie and maybe try and make a trade for Skinner, potentially be our goalie of the future. I think, yeah, Barrie's just too good there to pass on. Florida here, Montour's not bad, but again, we've taken so many defensemen. I forget the exact rules, but look at the bottom there. I think you can take 9 max, and we've already taken 8, so we're definitely going to have to start looking at forwards. Rudolph Balcers, an 80, making 750K. Colin White's making $1 million. I think Balcers honestly makes a ton of sense. Actually, wow. So Florida protected Bobrovsky and Spencer Knight. Now, Bobrovsky might have a no move clause, which is why they had to protect him, or just, you know, the game decided to. LA Kings here. Arvidsson, another good forward. Trevor Moore there, a couple years younger, much cheaper deal. Now, LA does have Cal Peterson, but he's an 83, making $5 million. Again, I'm looking for a cheaper goalie, so I'll go Trevor Moore here. We do have to make sure that, you know, we are above the salary cap minimum at the very least. Goligoski, $2 million for the next 3 years. Middleton there is getting better. Merrill, Tyson Jost, 24.79, high top 9. None of those defensemen, honestly, are that great. But actually, guys, we could also take Philip Gustafsson here. 24.78 medium starter. I've seen him turn up before. There's only 3 years left to grow, but if he plays well as the AHL starter, maybe as the backup, he could be good. I think kind of he gives us something that, you know, we don't already have in Jost. Montreal next. Jake Evans. I mean, we don't really want a lot of salary. Weidman, 80 overall. 765 for the next 3 years. I think he makes the most sense. He'll probably have a decent amount of value just still having a good contract. Wow, Ekholm and Ryan McDonough, both available. This is crazy. Okay, so we're getting another sick defenseman. Ekholm's a year younger, 2 overall higher, so I guess it's just as easy as that. We're going Matthias Ekholm here. Now, okay, you are allowed over 9 defensemen. I think maybe you have to take at least 9. We could take Damon Severson as well. Our defense is going to be stupid good. Michael McLeod there, 24.79. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to take anyone but him. I bet you there's a decent goalie available, though. Mackenzie Blackwood, 25.84, making $2.8 million for the next 2 years. I like Severson. Let me take a look at our D. Right now, Tyson Barrie's not even in the top 6. Like, that's an absolute joke. But, I mean, obviously, Seattle did that in real life. Vegas as well. They took some guys, and then they traded them away for picks just because you don't need 30 players. It probably makes more sense to do that, honestly, than take Blackwood, because we could probably trade Severson for, like, say, a second and a third, trade the second for Blackwood, then still be up a 3rd-round pick. So, yeah, it's still letting us take defensemen, so we'll continue to. Islanders here, okay. Scott Mayfield, 81, 1.5 is not too bad. Parise's cheap, but he's also pretty old. Now, they should have Varlamov. No, they protect Sorokin and Varlamov. Wow. So that is why they got a lot of guys available here. Interesting. Kiefer Bellows, 24.78, I think is the guy to take, honestly, on the Islanders. And looking at the Rangers here, Philip Hiddle's available. Same with Krasov. Hiddle, though, same age, 1 overall higher, is making more money. Okay, so I think it's one of the two for sure. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I like the fact Krasov's a power forward here for chemistry reasons, so I'm going to go with Krasov there over Hiddle, even though he is 1 overall lower. The Senators here, this might be just a punt pick. Gambrel's not bad, 25.78. Cam Talbot's available, but, I mean, I don't know. I really don't need a veteran goalie, so yeah, I think I'm just going to take Gambrel here, try to just take somebody cheap. It's not really a punt pick, he's a decent player, but still. Philadelphia Flyers here. Atkinson and JVR. Atkinson's making less money, but 2 years longer than JVR. I definitely like the flexibility of shorter term. No one, I doubt Blackwood's, yeah, there's no way Blackwood's available. So honestly, I'm going to go JVR here. Cap space now is 16 million. I feel like, you know, we're still in a pretty good spot. Penguins here, Peterson. Again, we don't really need any more defensemen unless they're super good. Could take Casey DeSmith. An 82 making 1.7 is actually pretty decent compared to like a lot of the other guys. 83s making 3 million plus. Actually, guys, I really like Ryan Poehling here. 23.79. I'm thinking he could play top 6 in our AHL team. Now, San Jose Sharks, LeBank's available, but an 81 making 4.7. Not the best contract. Nidovera, 28.81 making 1.5. Really good. Noah Gregor, 23.80. Kinzov there, 24.80. Rolls top 6. He could probably play in AHL though and not drop in rating. Gregor, medium top 9, 2-way forward. I'm thinking I'll take Gregor just because I'm not sure how many more defensemen I can take, and if somebody else really good shows up, I'd like to be able to get them. The St. Louis Blues here, I think Logan Brown, 24.78 medium top 6, another forward, younger guy. And look at this, guys. How is Anthony Cirelli available? Obviously have to sign him. Come on. I know he's extended 6.2 for 8 years, but he could be a part of this team for the long term. Let's see the Maple Leafs. They got Jake Muzzin there, Giordano. I mean, wow. Just again, so many good defensemen. Which goalie do they protect? They protect Samsonov there over Matt Murray. I mean, we have to take Muzzin, right? If we're allowed to. Okay, it's letting us take him. I think 12 might be the max for defense, though. In terms of the Canucks here, this is not looking like a great pick. No goalies. Tanner Pearson's kind of making a lot of money. Wow. So, yeah, we are just literally giving this pick away. I'm going to go with Jasic here. 1 year left. Again, doesn't look like we really got anything from the Canucks. Vegas Golden Knights, Riley Smith, but making a lot of money. Honestly, I like Phil Kessel here. 2 years left, 1.4, play him in the top 6. If he scores a lot, which I think he can with his stats, he could definitely grow in rating. We could trade him. I also see we only have 1 goalie. I think we have to take minimum 3. I might have to go back and change one of my picks for a goalie. I'd like to have TJ Oshie on the team, but not at that price. 5.5 for the next 4 years. Lars Eller, 82, 1.1 for the next 2 years. That's actually pretty good value. Sonny Milano, though, even better. Now, I should mention, guys, all these guys have like 1 extra year on their contract, so really Milano's like a 1-year deal. And I think with his age, again, if he does well, he makes a lot of sense. Now it says I have to draft a goalie next. Okay, so before I can take Milano, I gotta go take a goalie. And I'm just looking at Winnipeg here to see what position I'll be taking. Even though Nate Schmidt's 84 overall, he's making $6 million for the next 4 years, which is a lot of money. Sam Gagner is an 80, only making $750K. Logan Stanley would actually be really nice, 24.80, 900K. So since my Canucks pick was just a throwaway pick anyways, I'm going to take Colin Delia here, again, just to fill out that goalie spot. Now we still do need one more. I don't plan on taking a goalie from Washington or Winnipeg. Now I'm thinking I'm going to change the Anders Bork pick here. 1.6 million for 77 is pretty expensive, and we could get Eric Comrie or Craig Anderson. Comrie does have 1 year left to grow. 1.8 for 2 years isn't terrible. Or we just get Anderson for the 1 year. He's an old guy. I kind of feel bad. He plays out his career on a bad team, but yeah, maybe that makes more sense, honestly, than Comrie, just to make sure we're not stuck with a goalie we don't want. So the Washington pick here, as I mentioned, I want Sonny Milano. And then Winnipeg, if I can take him, I want Logan Stanley. Okay, I can. All right, so 13 defensemen, like I said, 3 goalies, and 15 forwards. I'm going to double check all my picks, guys, but I'm pretty happy with this team. Now, if you look at our center depth here, we got Anthony Cirelli and then basically just a bunch of high-end AHLers / low-end NHL players, which is what you expect. Most teams aren't really giving away NHL centermen. Look at the wingers, though. I mean, left wing, we're stacked. You got, 4 NHL guys there, a couple AHLers. Trevor Moore, Kessel, 2 former Leafs there. Krasov. Defensively is just insane. Like, that is our top 6. So Severson, Shattenkirk, Barry, Jake Bean, none of those guys even make the NHL team. Like I said, definitely trading away at least 3 defensemen. Then goaltending-wise, not getting anyone high-rated because it doesn't really matter much, I don't think. Nor do I really want to spend like the cap on it or, make our team too good. So, yeah, guys, I am happy with this team. I think it's exactly what I wanted to do. Essentially, my goal was just to pick the best player available from each team, and I feel like we did that. And that's where we're going to end this episode, guys. I feel like it's kind of the prequel episode to this series. Episode 1 will start off with the 2022 redo draft, so make sure you stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this one, leave that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the sub button down below. Thank you guys as always for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.